Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for May 6th through 10th, 2024. Yeah, I started throwing in the year just in case people decide to go back and listen.
Oh, that's a good idea.
To old recaps. I don't know if people might do that, if they, they might search a storyline online and see that it happened this week and then be like, what were Shannon and Amanda thinking? Or what's all the detail about this because this write-up kind of stinks.
Mm-hmm.
So just my kind of thought process behind that. I guess if you're new to the show, basically Mondays we do a weekly recap of the previous week's episodes. We do it on Monday because we want to give people the opportunity to catch up on the weekend like we have to sometimes. And Thursdays we do a Port Charles 411. That's a recap of different storylines, character backgrounds. Sometimes we talk to cast. Sometimes we talk to other fans. And anything we just feel like talking about.
Yep.
Sometimes we play games.
Right.
But on this upcoming Thursday's 411, I know I said we were getting back to Bobby, but guys, our reality check. Both of us are pretty much lucky that we even had a chance to watch the 5 episodes. So we are doing, Amanda had the beautiful idea of recapping Lila Quartermain. And there was a nice little write-up, and then I couldn't sleep. So I did a little deep dive. So it's going to be multiple weeks about Lila, but I am so excited because seriously, you should have seen the smile on my face when you sent that text.
Oh, good. Good.
You're like, Mother's Day, let's do Lila.
Mother's Day, yeah.
Yes, she was the best. There was one little video I found on YouTube that was, I want to say it was from the 90s. And I think that it was just asking, who's your favorite? It was either character or person. And like everyone was saying, Anna, Lila. It's.
Yep.
So I'm excited to talk about Lila. Okay, so that was the Port Charles 411 for this upcoming week. Totally out of order. So for the Port Charles pipeline, we forgot to mention the sad news that Nicholas Chavez confirmed that he's left.
Because I don't want to hear that.
I know.
I don't want to discuss it. I don't want to hear it. No.
I know. I mean, obviously, guys, we knew he left the show, but we thought it was like everyone else leaves the show.
Just to do another project and then he'd come back afterwards.
He pulled a Jonathan Jackson.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about Spencer? I mean, he's dead right now, so if they have a while to figure it out.
Right. They'll keep him dead for a while longer until everyone kind of gets over the fact that he left, and then, surprise, we'll have a new actor.
I know how much you love recasts, but this is going to be a tough one because we've only really had the 2. Well, when we've only, we watched little Nicholas Bechtel grow up, you know? Well, not grow up, but we watched him over the years. And then at first when it was, this is Spencer, we were both like, wait, what?
Right.
But then he
owned it. He'd made it his own, and there was no questioning that that was Spencer then.
Right, exactly. There was What's wrong with your leg now?
Oh God. Hello.
Hi.
I hope your back feels better.
It's okay. It's okay. All I was doing was painting yesterday. Oh, hi Audience. How you doing? You know who I am. All I was doing was painting yesterday, and then yesterday afternoon it just started and then, but if I'm up and moving, it's fine. Move, it just hurts like you know what.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Okie doke.
I had to say hello to my audience on your show. Considering I have an audience.
You do. You got a fan base. I just asked him to grab my mic because, I don't know. It's been coming through weird. But yeah, so he's gone. But guess who's coming back?
Who's coming back?
Do you know?
I thought I saw.
John J. York is back in the studio.
Yes. It said he was back on Friday, but then he wasn't back on Friday. So I guess they meant he was just taping on Friday. I thought they meant he was going to be on the show.
No, they just posted Mac is back. And he's wearing a shirt that says Mac is back.
Mac is back. Yes.
So happy about that. He looks great.
Yeah, I'm glad that they let him take the time that he needed to recover and be good, because he does. He looks wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had seen that. But then whenever you said that, I was like, wait, do I not know? Is there somebody else that I missed?
No, I would not do that. Because we don't do that. But when this is not a spoiler. This is a happy occasion.
Yes.
That Mac is back.
Mac is back. I want that shirt. That was cool.
Yes. So I guess that just leaves us. Do you have anything else that you saw this week that?
No. We should be on to Hulu headlines.
On Monday, Sonny and Natalia comfort each other. Weird phrase to use, but okay.
Yep.
Alexis tries to give Kristina some perspective after she added to the issue last week. Dante has a realization.
That was so stupid. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't. We're going to talk all about it.
Yeah. So ridiculous.
Ava is frustrated. I'm really confused by what is happening right now. In general, it's every single character is drastically changing.
Yes.
And on Tuesday, Carly eavesdrops on John. Laura visits Heather at Pentonville. Felicia warns Anna about Valentin. Did she, though? She just reminded her. They had girl talk. She didn't warn her.
Right.
Sonny meets with Jordan. Willow accepts Drew's offer. And I think I'm right. I think they are trying to start something there.
Yeah.
She was holding his hand way too much this week. And that's just, listen, Michael and Willow are not our favorite couple, but that does not mean we need an issue. Make them more exciting. And
we already had Drew sleep with Nina. He does not need to sleep with her daughter.
No. On Wednesday, Jason tells Anna what the FBI has on him. Carly tries to get information from Pikeman. Dante breaks some news to Sam. Lois and John catch up. Brook Lynn meets with Chase before the celebrations begin. On Thursday, Finn and Gregory have a disagreement over his care. Ava feels slighted by Sonny. Natalia tries to find a way to attend the wedding, which is just weird.
Yep.
Jason tells Sam he is working with the FBI. If I just met someone, I am not expecting to be invited to their wedding.
No.
That's just, if I've known you less than 6 months.
It doesn't make any sense that she would be invited. And what is she going to do anyway? Stand in front of them, of Kristina and Blaze, so that no one can take pictures? Like, They're not going to be like, Mom, get away from us.
Right. And then, and Jason tells Sam he's working with the FBI, and Jordan cautions Laura. And then on Friday, John confronts Jason about Carly. Ava investigates Sonny's medication. Sonny has a proposition for Natalia. Anna checks in with Dex about the PCPD, and Jocelyn and Dex share a flirty competition.
Yep.
So what are we starting on?
I guess we can just start with Natalia, because it was all just ridiculous. So her and Sonny comforting each other. They're just sitting on a park bench complaining about how Natalia's complaining about how Blaze doesn't understand what she's trying to do for her, and that this needs to be protected because the public's just not going to accept that she's a lesbian and it's not okay, and blah, blah, blah. And then Sonny is trying to tell her, oh, that's okay. And then whines about how he can't trust Carly, even though she's the person that stood by him the entire time that he was going through the worst of his bipolar.
Right.
It didn't make any sense.
And that was, I know that Sonny values family. And so he's going to see Natalia as family adjacent, but I don't feel like on their third meeting.
Right.
That especially where he already knows that she has concerns over her daughters, and Kristina being together. Right. Why would you also then confide in, and you hear her having outdated views.
Right.
What makes you think that she would not also think the same thing about mental health?
Right.
And not have concerns over, oh my gosh, could Kristina be bipolar? And, is Blaze in danger or something? Like, why wasn't that
Well,
there?
I think that to pretend that Natalia has no idea or no way of figuring out who Sonny Corinthos is stupid to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
If she did a quick Google search, she would know that he is supposed to be this big mob boss, and that could be her whole reason for saying, I don't want you dating Kristina. She wouldn't have to get into anything else, and she would be totally justified, not saying that Blaze should listen to her or would listen to her, but that is a legitimate concern.
Right.
The same way that TJ is concerned about it, except for he should have been concerned about it before anything happened with her becoming the surrogate. That is a legitimate concern that people that hang around Sonny may get hurt.
Right. And this is a new relationship, not one that's been going on since you were 13 years old and just now decided to have a problem with. He's been kidnapped twice.
Yep.
I don't know. But
So,
prior to that, Blaze and Natalia had gone shopping at Logan's and Wyndham's, and that's when they were talking on the park bench. And she starts talking about how Brook Lynn's not paying any attention to her or the appropriate amount of attention to her. And Blaze is like, listen, knock it off. I'm sorry you weren't excited about your wedding, but Brook Lynn's allowed to be.
Exactly.
And then Natalia starts getting into how horribly produced the first single off her new album is going to be. The guitars are all wrong, and Blaze has a brother, Ilwa.
That sounds right.
Ilwa, but apparently he plays guitar, doesn't want anything to do with music, and doesn't want anything to do with his mom.
Right. And Blaze
he doesn't
is like,
even want a career in music.
Right.
Right. Like that's what we were getting from that.
Exactly. She's like, your brother could do better. And Blaze is like, my brother wants nothing to do with music. So he's sorry that you're mad that he's taking on a different career path.
Right. And apparently he has a different father.
Right.
So could he be Miguel's son?
Oh, that would be fun.
Did Miguel play guitar though? I don't think that really matters. I mean, musical is musical.
Right. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Who knows how that would work out. But then, yeah. And I mean, she was just like really super, super, super micromanaging. But then Sonny asked her if she wanted a drink. That was cute though, where he's like, this park bench is great, but you know what it doesn't have? Refreshments.
I like that he asked her. I was okay with him asking her if she wanted to have a drink. I just thought it was a little weird that they went back to his apartment. Like,
yes,
we're in the park. There's plenty of establishments around that general area. Let's go get a drink at the Metro Court. Let's go get a drink at Charlie's. Let's go get a drink anywhere.
And Charlie's would have been fantastic because that's Kristina's bar. Like that's Kristina's restaurant. And Natalia could see firsthand, wow, this is a great place. It's run very well. It's a great business.
Right.
But
so that was just weird. No, if I was at the park, even if I was at the park with you and I said, let's go get a drink, I would say, let's go to a restaurant. I wouldn't bring you back to
100%.
my house.
Yeah. If we are already out,
right.
You stay out unless it's, hey, you want to come over and have a drink?
Yeah, exactly. It was very weird.
But then,
and then they get to his apartment.
Anna.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get that he's conflicted, obviously, because of the fact that he's not on the right meds. And so he's going through something. But I am mad at Ava for what she's doing. But I also feel bad for her because he's definitely sending mixed signals. Because one minute he's like, I don't want you to leave. I need you here. You're the only person I trust. And then the next second, he's like, oh, yeah, get out of my face. And I understood him not taking her to the wedding because he's right. That would have been totally disrespectful.
Absolutely. She killed Connie.
Right. Totally disrespectful.
I don't think he was out of line either with saying, and how would you feel if...
She said something about they should be over that by now. And he said, when are you going to get over Kiki's death?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who killed Kiki again?
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. That's why I just paused for so long because
Crap.
Was it Heather Weber? Was it?
No, wasn't it Franco? Was it Franco? No.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Killed her.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
Oh my God. We should have definitely known that.
Because it was the same party with Mary Pat's head.
Yes, but that just shows the week that we both had, because that is like basic GH knowledge. And we're both like, who? Our brains are fried.
Yes. Listen, we've talked about this how many times. When you're in it, you're just, wait, what?
Right, exactly. So yes, he said, when are you going to forgive Ryan for Kiki? And she got angry at that comment. But I mean, yeah, it was a huge statement and like made you say ouch, but it was driving home the point of like, yeah, you don't just get over that.
Right. But
so,
then
yeah.
Even before all that, he had been venting about Carly being too into his business. And she's like, yeah, who does she think she is? And he's like, you know what, though? She's who knows my illness just as much, if not better than me, because she recognizes it when things are off.
Right.
And he says, I'm going to have my blood tested.
Yep.
Which I was so thankful that he was like, I mean, I understand he said at the end to shove it in their face that it's wrong, but he knew. I feel like that he maybe did have like but what if she's right?
Right, exactly. Like, I don't want to admit that she knows what she's talking about, but she definitely knows what she's talking about. So let's go double check and then assume that it's going to come out fine. And then I can throw it in her face and be like, see, you didn't know.
Right.
And then Ava talks him out of it.
Yeah. I just don't understand what they're doing with this Ava thing.
Right. I don't get it. And then later on, they show her at the doctor's with his prescription. And same thing, like, I know you're not, I know you're not supposed to Google things because the internet gives too much information and can scare you. But I feel like side effects of medication is one thing that's pretty normal. Like, they're pulling it from the manufacturer's website if you're going to a reputable source. So, yeah, it makes sense if you're on a certain dose of any medication, but in this case, bipolar medication, if you're taking less of the dose, it's not as effective, and you're then going to show signs of that disorder. So her meeting with the pharmacist, I'm like, what? Why?
And her whole thing is about this big trip that they're taking.
Right.
I mean,
right. That was her
and then
cover-up.
she asks the question about not taking it. I'm sorry. That's like red flags all over the place, especially the way that she asked. You know, it was definitely, she wasn't turning on the sweet, charming, oh, thank goodness, you know, so how can I make sure that, you know, we're having a time delay and like we're going to have time zone change. And do you have any recommendations of making sure that we stay on track, you know, or things like that, you know, it's especially if it's something that impacts sleep, you know, and keeps you awake. Like, okay, well, we're switching time zones. When should they adjust? How should they adjust back? You know, things like that. Those are all typical. I feel like that would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah. Her questions didn't make any sense. She's, what if he's not taking the right dose? Well, why would you not be taking the right dose? Like, if it says take 3 pills, you take 3 of them.
Right.
And so the pharmacist is like, I wouldn't normally discuss this with someone, you know, that's not their prescription, but here, I'll discuss it with you. And it was just like, yeah, if that pharmacist knew Ava, then she knew, or he knew Sonny, and he knew that they weren't married. So that cover up isn't working. And if he didn't know them that well, then he certainly would not trust her enough to be like, oh, sure, let's have a conversation that I shouldn't be having.
To be fair, though, I did just think about something. You know, when you pick up your prescriptions and they say, do you have any questions for the pharmacist?
Yeah.
They don't make sure that it's your medication that you're picking up before they ask you that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I feel like general questions.
I think that's kind of how he's getting away with this, though. She is asking kind of basic questions, but I feel like he should kind of put in the notes, this woman was just in. And if that is that's not where Sonny typically goes, right?
Right.
Okay, then never mind. I was thinking if it is where Sonny typically goes, you would think they would know Carly because, but
yeah, the whole thing just like, it didn't make sense. And I feel like they're dumbing Ava down. Like I said, she took the pill and instead of doing a quick Google search, she sent it off to the lab. Like she didn't know what she didn't know what the purpose of the med was. And then it came back from the lab to say, yeah, it wasn't the right strength. And it was like, okay, so maybe she did have cause for doing that. Like, good job, Ava. Now you're going to go to Sonny and tell him it's not the right strength. And instead, she just keeps keeping it from him and trying to figure out like how far away from his treatment she can get him. Like, how that's the father of your daughter. You would not put him in a episode where he's going to be nasty to people knowing that your daughter is going to be around them.
Right. And then she suggests that she moves out.
Yeah. And that's whenever he's like, no, I don't want you to move out. I like having you around. You're the only person I can trust. And that was after he asked Natalia to the wedding. And she's like, oh, I'm so excited because I tried to tell Blaze she was going to take me. And she said, no, she's going to take Kristina, her girlfriend.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. I can't wait till they show us whatever they're going to do with Ava because I just don't understand any of it right now.
None of it makes sense considering Morgan.
Right.
That's the first and foremost. If Morgan never died because she messed with his meds. Right. Because now I was going to say somebody mentioned that this week could it be Ava is messing with his meds? Who mentioned that?
I don't know. Was that did Carly say that when she was there? I feel like she didn't because I was confused why she didn't.
Because I think that would have really made Sonny even double down on getting the blood work done because it would have also been and to prove to them that you're not trying to destroy me. Right. Because they all hate the fact that we're friends now.
And then she would have not been able to convince him not to because that wouldn't even make any sense. She would have to be like, yeah, show them that I'm not messing with your meds.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't understand what they're doing with it. So I can't wait for them to make it make sense because it doesn't right now.
I guess we could just kind of stick with Sonny because this will transition into another storyline where Sonny met with Jordan and still wants to make this big donation. He's like super, super adamant about this now.
Right. And she's like, no, thank you.
And then was it before or after they met that he said to Drew he was no longer going to sell Volaninos? When did that conversation happen?
I don't know. I missed that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it happened on screen.
Okay.
Unless we both somehow forgot it.
Which could be true after the past few weeks that we've had. But I feel like I would have remembered that because we were just talking about his businesses.
Right.
So I feel like we would have said, oh, he's down the business.
Right. And then Drew sat down and talked with Jordan about how he got in touch with the congressman and he. And I loved when she said, yeah, that was my idea.
Right.
Because he's like, well, you don't sound surprised by any of this. And she's like, nope, because that was my idea.
Yeah.
I don't need like fanfare and everything. But if I have suggested something to you and you're going to stand in front of a group of people and act like this is brand new information to you, or you have discovered and not even thank me, even privately for it.
Right.
That kind of, I'm even fine with the private acknowledgement.
Yes, but exactly.
Don't act like...
Don't tell me about it like it was your idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But then she also says to him, because she's like, okay, so tell me how, like, do you just have a lot of napkins and Post-its about it? And then she's like, in government, we call that a working idea. I feel like that's just kind of a thing, not just a government term. And he's a Navy SEAL.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
I mean, I don't know if Navy SEALs have working ideas, but I feel like that's planning 101.
Right.
Is you jot down a bunch of ideas and then you go, okay, what do we do with all this?
Right. That's called brainstorming. I think Drew's probably done it once or twice before. And so was Jordan.
But then Jordan and Laura spoke about, oh my gosh, what the heck did they talk about?
The Heather stuff.
Yes, that's right. Because earlier in the week or in the same day, I don't know, I watched all 5 together. So
I think it was like, I don't know if it was the same day or if it was the day before, but Laura had gone to visit Heather and she was shocked at how quote unquote normal Heather seemed and that she believed that maybe she should be let out earlier, have a lesser sentence or whatever, because the cobalt poisoning must have made her crazy.
I need to know when this hip replacement happened, because I feel like we are being led to believe it happened before Esme was born.
Right.
But when she was off screen. So like
Right.
during one of the gaps, but not before she first came on, because she first came on at 19.
Right. Yeah, no,
And
it hadn't.
20 is when she accidentally dosed herself with LSD, and
Right.
she had her first stay at a mental health facility and continued to have mental health issues. And because she was never, okay, yes, LSD, trying to poison someone with LSD is violence, but she was always hands-off violence, right? She was always, she was the typical woman poisoner.
Right. That's what Laura's saying, is it wasn't in her character to be so physically violent instead of like manipulatively violent.
But I almost feel like they're now trying to give her a pass on everything else.
Well, I feel like that's what Alexis was saying. She was like, you can say that some of this wasn't typical. And Kevin said that to her too. Like, you can't act like she was this innocent young girl that you remember from the very first time that you met her, because all this other stuff happened relatively quickly. And then the super violent stuff didn't happen until a few years ago. But you can't give her a pass for everything that she did.
Right. Because that's not how that works. And could you imagine? So, because Laura said, is it really fair to hold everything against her because she was unknowingly poisoned? Well, okay. How long after a hip replacement? We'll just do a little bit of this.
Boom.
How long after could it dissolve? Poison you?
There you go.
That was already a question. Oh, wow. Cobalt chromium poisoning, also known as metallosis, can occur in hip replacement patients months to years after surgery. In 1975, a study published in the British Editorial Society of Bone and Joint Surgery states that metallosis can begin between 9 months and 4 years after surgery. However, some patients may experience symptoms as early as 2 years after surgery. Others may not experience symptoms until 15 to 20.
Wow, that's crazy early. I was going to say, like, at least you get 10 years out of it.
I was thinking 10, 15 before it would start to maybe slowly impact.
Right.
Because she was on from 76 to 79, 80, 83, and then didn't come back until 2004. And during that time is when I feel like that's when she would have had this. That's when she had the affair with Ryan and
right,
all that. But like, so are they trying to say that she had the affair with Ryan because of it, or no? I don't know.
I mean, I don't feel like they're trying to blame that on the cobalt poisoning, but it probably did happen along those same lines. Like, she was probably already getting poisoned at that point.
But that would be like,
not that they're going to tell us, but I wonder if in real life there's like a blood test that can tell you about how long it's been going on, depending on like how contaminated your blood is. I just want a 2020 episode on cobalt poisoning now.
I'm looking to see, like, is there, this is not one that I feel like would pass me by. Was there a serial killer that was found and overturned and rehabilitated or whatever because they found out that they had been, and nothing shows up whenever I Google murderer with cobalt poisoning.
I know how disappointed that makes you.
But how many, I mean, seriously, how many? There's like a trio of things that they say, like, can kind of, and one of them is just basically like a traumatic brain injury when you're a child.
Right.
That does, even if Heather was impacted by this when she was younger, she knew it was wrong. Right. Like, Ted Kaczynski was part of MK Ultra, and he still became the Unabomber. Mm-hmm. The government didn't let him off because they're the ones who did that to him. Right. So Heather Weber doesn't get a pass. Yeah. I do think that they should definitely make sure that she is rehabilitated and physically fine.
Right, exactly. I could see if her sentence was supposed to be like the death penalty, to turn around and be like, hey, listen, she had this going on. Instead of the death penalty, I think it should just be life in prison because that's kind of a harsh punishment, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But to say that we're going to reduce her sentence when, yeah, she still knew right from wrong is not a reason to give her less time.
Right. But she is so sweet, though, when Laura comes and talks about baby Ace.
Oh my God, that picture of Ace was so cute.
Like, I do believe that people in prison can be reformed, as we all know, because I feel like Cyrus was. But
except he wasn't.
But to the degree where, I mean, there are definitely some convictions that I feel like if they were tried now, the outcome would have been more mental health than like a prison sentence. So yeah, that's just going to be really interesting, I guess, to see how that goes.
And I mean, I feel like for Heather, even if they did let her out, like, it is not safe for her to stay in Port Charles. Portia or someone is going to kill her. She needs to go away.
Right. What are they going to do with her? Carly's going to hire her at Bobby's and be in charge of the BLTs? That's not how that's going to happen.
Right.
I don't know. That's a head scratcher.
Yep. Also a head scratcher, why Dante is suddenly going to give up his police badge.
Thank goodness Anna put it in a different perspective for him. I can understand him struggling with this, but this is what he's struggling with. Nothing. Right. He's been in this like exact same situation how many times?
Right.
And has never blurred the lines.
I wish that he would tell Sam whatever his big, deep, dark secret is that Cody knows. And then maybe that could be a reason that he would say he's not worthy of being a police officer anymore.
That is definitely a storyline that has gone nowhere. Thank you.
Yes. Because then it might make sense. Like, I'm not worthy of being a police officer because I killed somebody or did whatever. I don't know. But instead, he's just like, no, because I feel like I've compromised myself because of Sonny. And then Anna's like, you've probably kept yourself more protected because if you're not a cop, Sonny is going to be more open with you and may even ask you to join the family business. So you need to stay where you're at. You have never made the choice to not convict Sonny on something. You've just stayed out of it, which is what they would have expected you to do anyway. It's like in the medical field, you can't operate on a family member. So, okay, with the police stuff, you're not going to prosecute someone or arrest someone that is your direct family member.
I don't know. They're having Molly prosecute her family. So, I mean.
Oh, I know. That's so dumb, too. But
it's just.
And then he goes home and Sam is like, oh, my God, I'm so sad that you didn't quit the police force. And now I don't know.
What is she going to be happy with?
Right. Now I don't know that I can be with you, but I don't know how to not be with you because I would still miss you and the kids would be upset. Like,
at least seriously? She said you were a cop when I met you.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same exact. I'm sorry. We really could have probably just switched out Jason and Dante and she could have given the same speech to both of them at the same time.
Right.
Because it was, but I mean, you were a cop wife. So I'm sure, like, and I do not discount the feelings that you had when they left, when he would leave for the day, that you really don't know how the day is going to go.
Right. But
and that's true for everybody, but that's definitely like a higher risk.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing. Like Jason was just as equally at risk, and that's why she couldn't stay with him.
Right.
And I like how her first thought was, though, not that she can deal with it. It was, but you and Rocco would get kicked out.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they could move into the Quartermain mansion. I'm fairly certain they would be okay.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd find some place to live in Port Charles. I think it would be all right. But yeah, I don't know. She just made no sense. It's like, I excuse the fact that you were in danger because you were on the right side of the law. And I couldn't excuse Jason because he was on the wrong side of the law.
Right.
And then she finds out that Jason has been on the right side of the law the past few years. And she's like, we have to help Jason.
Danny.
What?
Oh, no. Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
We have to help Jason.
Yeah. We have to help Jason. We have to figure out what they have on Jason.
Asked for her help?
Huh?
Did I miss where Jason asked for her help?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, you didn't. He didn't ask for her help at all. But she's like, we got to help. We got to figure this out. Okay.
Because she had gone to see him because Danny wasn't reported. And that happened actually with my son. where his teacher mistook attendance or didn't turn it in until late. And I got the call. And so I called them back and no one answered and called them back. And they're like, oh yeah, that was a mix up. He's actually here. I'm like, so when were you going to call me and say, by the way, your kid's safe?
Right. Because number one,
they weren't going to.
Right. They weren't. But number one, I need to know that my kid's safe. And number two, when my kid gets home, he's going to be grounded because you told me he wasn't at school and he was supposed to be at school. I know your son is, an exceptionally good kid. So he was not skipping. But again, as a parent of a teenager, that's what your thought goes to. If the school says he's not there, you're like,
what happened?
They're not there. We need to punish them for skipping school.
Right.
So that's ridiculous. Luckily, Danny's
worst
school
case scenario, like what happened though? Like, did something happen that
right.
He didn't get there for some reason,
Right.
I don't remember if he was driving or not, but either way.
Yeah.
But then Jason reminded Sam, you're training Danny to lie to you because you're forbidding him to see me.
Yep.
And you're refusing to even listen to him.
Right. And I'm trying to say he can see me in places that you would consider are safe. Like, I'm not having him go on a job with me where I'm taking somebody out. I'm saying, let's grab a bite at Bobby's together.
And here's the other thing too, is she saying this? So she's telling Jason what she does not like about him, because apparently these tattoos are such a problem.
I can't believe that Carly I felt like Carly acknowledging it was good to just get it out there because he hadn't had them when he was on the show before. But she's like, now Danny's going to want to get a sleeve of tattoos.
Right. Well, and even back to Carly, the way that she asked, it wasn't, so are we going to talk about this? Like friends.
Right.
It was, oh my God, what happened to you that you got a tattoo? And then Sam's basically saying he's a horrible father because he has a sleeve.
Because he has a sleeve. It's not like his tattoo is like KKK or devil worshipping or something. It's a tattoo. How does that make him a bad dad?
Yeah. And you cannot say your son is just like you in these ways, especially if she is saying those things to Danny and then saying how much she hates those qualities in the dad.
Right.
Because you're basically sending mixed messages of, so therefore you hate me with, he's still a child.
Yep.
So it's not, listen, I see you starting to be drawn to this, you need to be careful because this is where it can go. It's not like, and that's something that I always worried about with your dad. I mean, she's straight up coming with, you're horrible. I can't believe I was ever with you. Why did I ever have a child with you? Gonna go home to my sister's brother now. Yeah, so she then Dante realizes that Sonny had told him that Jason was working with the FBI, and Sam gets all bent out of shape about that. He's like, I was in the hospital and I was going in and out of consciousness.
Right.
Maybe I kind of forgot.
Yeah. Wasn't really my top priority as I was fighting for my life.
I can't on some of this.
Nope.
I guess we could just maybe stick with Jason on that though.
Okay.
What was so first Carly went to him to talk about Sonny because she had come straight from his place.
Right. And then
go ahead.
Oh, and then does Anna show up then or John showed up next?
John showed up first and Carly went into the storage room and they both decided that meant it was safe for them to discuss details.
Yes.
And John gave her a compliment and said, it's really amazing how close she gets to breaking the law without doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then she overheard about Brennan. And so she took it upon herself, which this is not Carly.
No.
She would have gone to Jason.
Yep.
And said, so I overheard this. What are we doing?
Yep.
And they would have talked about it. She would not have gone to see Brennan on her own. She knows how that works. She knows how that works. Because then John accused him of helping Carly or telling Carly. That was telling Carly about Brennan. And he's like, why would I do that? The entire reason I am working for you is to protect her.
Right.
So how does that make sense in your little FBI world?
Right.
But then
we finally found out what they have on her, though. So that was good. That
was really interesting. I'm just trying to figure out who leaked it then.
Right.
Because I went back to the meeting.
Okay.
And so that's when Jason went to Anna. And I was like, so John just came to me and said, so who found out that John found out that Carly went to Pikeman or to Brennan? Who found out that Carly went to see Brennan?
Was it? Yeah, it was him because he got a phone call that said
he was talking to Jason.
Brennan was a visitor and then explained who it was.
So then that's why Jason goes to Anna and tells her, listen, we have a problem. Carly would not have done this unless she's trying to protect me, which she was, but again, would not have done.
Mm-mm.
So they have the audio of the meeting where she wore that amazing dress and owned the room.
Yes, she did.
I rewatched it. She said she has been involved because Cyrus was challenging her.
Right.
And she said she has been involved in every aspect for some time now. Selena asks if she is equipped to maintain the control. And she says that she is calling the shots now. And then she winds up threatening Cyrus.
Right.
So Novak and Bushima are dead now.
Yep.
Would Selena have leaked? And Cyrus is...
No.
But then Cyrus is trying to take down Sonny right now, but he's trying to go about it the right way.
Yeah.
I think that he's smart enough to know I'm working with them right now and they're kind of giving me a little bit of a break. So I'm not going to give them a reason to dig deeper into my past.
But I don't think that Selena, maybe one of the bodyguards, aren't there guards still in there then to make sure that they don't bang each other?
She just had Lee was leaking information.
There you go.
Lee leaked it.
Wasn't
it? He was reporting to somebody. He was reporting to Pikeman.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I'm so confused.
Yeah, he was
reporting to Pikeman.
To Pikeman, because that was why Sonny was like, let's have all of us meet in the warehouse and we're going to draw whoever is trying to take us out. Because, yeah.
So could we have also leaked this to...
Or he could have leaked it to Pikeman and someone at Pikeman could have leaked it to the FBI just to make sure that they stayed away from Pikeman and were more on Sonny. Because they just want Sonny gone. Yeah.
John gets it. And here's the thing, though. Brennan was only head of the WSB for like a minute.
Right. But he's the one that got Frisco kicked out. So he needed that connection.
Okay, this one I'm intrigued by. This one I'm kind of curious of how are all these pieces going to come together. Anna moved into Sasha's apartment.
Yes.
Fully furnished.
Yep.
And Detective Bennett has cadets helping her.
Yeah.
And cute. Valentin sent flowers. Why did we not look for a bug?
Right? That's exactly what I was thinking whenever she was talking and was like, oh, I have a date with him, blah, blah, blah. And they like looked at the the camera looked at the flowers and I was like, hello.
Right.
So yeah, if it was bugged, it totally heard her saying, I'm only going out with him to get information and try to figure out where he plays in all this Pikeman stuff.
And we had seen Valentin and Nina having lunch discussing Drew and how she's getting along with everything.
She sure is.
And then this is where Willow, because Nina left the table and went and approached Willow and Drew talking about the fact that Willow's going to be the new Tomorrow Institute spokesperson. Doesn't that sound like a cult?
It does. It does.
Dawn of day, new tomorrow.
Yeah.
But that's where she's overly complimenting Drew.
Mm-hmm.
No. Nothing about that is going to be remotely okay.
No.
And if they try, I know we just gave Michael a hard time about the not really supporting her being a nurse, but we also talked about the struggle is real whenever it comes to whether working or staying home with the children.
Right.
And they're in the position that they can do that. But Michael has supported her working, not as much as he should at times.
Right.
But when she came to him and said, I think I need to quit, he didn't just go, oh, thank God. He was part of that conversation and part of the thought process and the decision making.
Right.
If they try to position it where Drew rescued her from having to be a stay-at-home mom.
Right. No,
why couldn't we have just had her open up a preschool? Why could they not have reopened the daycare center at the hospital, and Willow could help her fellow nurses who she heard struggling with the same thing?
Right.
That would have made sense.
Because
then she could have been doing both-ish. I mean, she couldn't have been a nurse, but also if the Quartermains funded, they could have hired somebody to work there.
Yeah.
So that not everything was on her shoulders. Like she wouldn't be the only employee. Yeah.
Right. That would have been beautiful.
That would have been fantastic.
And she could have taken her kids with her and she'd still get to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
And Willow just cares too much about family because her family was so screwed up that she's not going to cheat on Michael. Like, for her to leave Michael, something major would have to happen. Like, they already had the fact that he wasn't being honest with her about everything. And she was like, listen, I don't want to leave you, but if I have to because you keep lying to me, I will. But, like, I love you and we have kids and this is what is most important. So She's not going to be the one that cheats. You would have to have Michael cheat and then her leave him for cheating. And even then, I don't know that she would do it the first time because she would say, we have these kids. We need to try to work it out.
I agree. So, yeah, if they are trying to do something there, it is not. And it just seems like they're trying to put Drew on this pedestal that he is going to save Port Charles. And I didn't realize that Port Charles was that bad.
Right.
I didn't know that they were in that bad of a situation.
Yeah. And then on to Gregory. Is that what's left?
Yeah.
I felt bad that him and Finn had the blow up that they had because he got real nasty with Finn, bringing up him not showing up to Gregory's wedding. But I was happy that Gregory came to the conclusion himself that he should not participate in the rehearsal because it would be too much on him. I want him to be good for the wedding.
I'm counting something wrong.
Okay.
That's a lot. Okay.
Of unfinished stories?
No. But yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that also it wasn't in response to him hearing Chase wanting that and not knowing how to ask.
Right. He came to it himself. Yep. And then it was perfect because Alexis was able to be like, hey, I need some help. Can I come over? So he won't be alone. And Alexis is being a good friend, but also seriously getting to get like all her jitters out about her hearing.
I really, really did like that with the friendship with Finn. He went to her because he was looking for a meeting first.
Yeah.
After. That's actually what I was just looking up because on his phone, it said, search for AA meetings near me. Oh, I can't see it. So he uses Spider Finder, but it says web. It got all fuzzy, like whatever the tagline is for Spider Finder. We'll have to get that. There's one at Graceful Meadows. Our church offers a sanctuary to those trying to find a higher power as they fight their addiction. We run Alcoholics Anonymous every day at noon. Find community in your recovery and get help with substance issues. No one's an island, and our community at Graceful Meadows is here to help you. Then they also have Haven Chapel, Alcoholics Anonymous meeting at Haven Chapel. Street parking is available. Enter on Elm, meeting in Auxiliary Room 113. All are welcome, regardless of gender, race, or religion. Meetings are held at Haven Chapel every Tuesday at 6 p.m. We also host a meeting every other Saturday at noon. And then it has a search for AA meetings, get help with drinking, resentments, anger, loneliness, fellowship, spirituality, and relationships at over 500 weekly meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous in Port Charles, New York.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just pulled up, it's just Pittsburgh AA meetings, and it's like two. All right, I have already counted 50, and there's definitely, I would say, at least another 25 more. So if there's like 75 a day in the Pittsburgh area, and some of them are on Zoom.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. And it specifically states, like the ones that, it has where they all are. It has the map, has their, the schedules, if it's accessible. So like if there's accessibility issues.
Right.
And then there's some that specifically say no smoking, but I don't see any that say smoking. There's some that are blank.
Huh.
Oh, the church I grew up next to has one tonight at 10.
Wow, that's late. That's nice that they have it late.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That one's at 8:30. There's another one down the road at 10.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's partially my address because mine was the number and a half because we actually rented the house from the church.
Oh, okay.
So it was just weird to see that address because I'm like, wait a second. That was the church I grew up in. Okay. Anyway, did he ever go to a meeting? I don't think he went to a meeting.
I don't think we saw that. I think he was just happy that Alexis said she'd go. I don't think we went past that.
I do like that he has her for that.
Mm-hmm.
She's not his sponsor, right?
No.
Why doesn't he? Okay. Mm-hmm. Sure. And then we had seen Alexis talking with Diane about her case, but then Kristina.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so thankful that Diane was defending Kristina.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, she's pregnant with a baby. There is life growing inside her. You've done it 3 times. You know how that feels. And it is a part of you.
Right.
You know,
right.
I did like Kristina flipping out earlier in the week. Actually, I think it was like the first thing that happened on Monday was Kristina flipping out to Alexis. She either cares too much or she doesn't care enough. If they had just hired another surrogate, would they be having the same issues?
Right.
And Alexis said that it's not her understanding that's the problem. Alexis called her mommy last week.
Right.
It's not. Kristina 100% has the right to love this baby.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if she were not related and she is going to be the baby's aunt, don't you want her to be loving the baby?
Right. I feel like, they say that whenever you're pregnant, like the baby feels whatever you're feeling. Like, don't be under too much stress because that'll stress out the baby, blah, 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 blah. So if she was just like indifferent to this baby and to being pregnant, that wouldn't be good for the baby either. Like,
right.
She's loving her or him like an aunt that is giving birth to their niece or nephew.
Right. And when Diane even asked, and have you talked to her about this? And Alexis says yes. And she said, and how does she respond? And she's like, well, she doesn't agree. She doesn't like it. And Diane's like,
right.
Okay, then she doesn't think the baby's hers.
Right.
Like, that's not a thing.
They keep trying to make it a thing. And every week, like, we say the same thing. She's not walking around telling strangers, oh, my baby's due in 3 months, or, oh, I can't wait to buy this outfit for my baby, or picking out clothes or anything like that. Like, she's just taking care of herself.
That is what if they want us to think that Kristina thinks the baby's hers, they should have her looking up, like maybe making a baby registry.
Right. Or looking at baby names or something like that.
Right. Not going for a walk.
No.
But then we saw Kristina and Blaze after Natalia left, right? Because Natalia first came to her hotel room because that's when we found out that she thought she was going to the wedding.
Right. We see Blaze and Kristina talking in Kristina's apartment.
Yes, because they were having movie night and something else. Basically like a Netflix and chill night.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what else they talked. I can't remember what else they talked about. Oh, Molly came over and talked about.
Apologize. Yes.
I was glad to see that. Oh, the one thing that we forgot when Natalia and Blaze were on the bench is when she said, happy musicians don't make good music. You just told your daughter you want her to be miserable so that she can have a quote unquote successful career?
Yep.
I'm sorry. No. And then we can just quickly say Joss has decided to switch to environmental science.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And her and Dex had a little race.
Yes. But then Lois sees Jagger. I loved Brook Lynn correcting even her being introduced by Lois as Brook Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Miss Quartermain.
That's right. You better show me some respect because I don't like you. And he was like, I owe you a thank you because you called me out and I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, right, exactly. You shouldn't have.
Like, that's policing 101.
Right. You don't question minors without an adult around.
but then he and Lois start to reminisce. So they were on at the same time. And I know I did not watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Lois was best friends with Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
But why am I not remembering Lois and Jagger having even the slightest bit of any back and forth?
Well, Brenda was also best friends with Robin, that was dating Stone, that was Jagger's brother. So they were all part of that. Like Robin and Stone went to Lois's wedding, Lois and Ned's wedding and stuff. Yes. So I think it was just a kind of like, you know, we knew there was a lot going on type of thing. I don't remember them having like a friendship.
They were best friends.
Right. She did like jump up like, I have to tell Jagger hi, where it should have been like, hey, Jagger, remember me? Blah, 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 type of thing. Yeah, they definitely made it to be more than it was, but they did have interactions because of the fact that they all ran in the same circle.
But right, just like as acquaintances, not because I'm like, we just did a 411 all about him. We just did a 411 all about her.
Right. Nowhere in it was it like they were best friends.
However, he did remember that he was married to Karen and she wasn't just his high school girlfriend.
He did. And she apologized for his loss. And then he was like, I don't really want to dwell on that. And I was like, yeah, because you messed it up.
They were divorced by that point.
Exactly.
And then his son Stone is 21 and lives in a group home near Quantico.
There you go. I was going to say, don't make that face because you don't know how severe his condition is.
Oh, new verbiage. You know how I've been saying that like they're switching from low functioning to high functioning, but then you're like, okay, but what do we say?
Yeah.
Low support needs, high support needs.
Oh, okay.
I like that a lot more because it also tells you what they need.
Right. So maybe he has a very high support need, and that is why he is living where he is.
Yes. I just have I've learned a lot, and I know not all are bad. But like we just had one that was shut down last year and has had so many investigations. And there were institutions which aren't group homes, but you hear about it in those situations, like in those settings also. And so I really, really hope that nothing is happening.
Right.
And if they do bring it up, I hope it's done well and that Stone is okay. But I'm going to have a real hard time with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it is something that's important because so I've been hearing about waivers for years now. And do you know what waiver funding is?
No.
Okay. You are literally waiving your right to be institutionalized. You do not have a right to stay in the community. Your default right is to be institutionalized. At least in Pennsylvania. This might be other states, I don't know, but this is in Pennsylvania. So the waiver funding for various supports is because you are waiving receiving that from an institution.
Oh my God.
By the way, community-based services are 75% less than what it would cost to have those supports in an institution.
Right.
One of the ones that closed last year, I just read a lot about the conditions. And I mean, it was in 1978, people visited it and wrote a report about them being like basically like kept in cages and tied to beds and not being able to be cared for. So, and before anyone writes in, I already said, there is a difference between group homes and institutions, but sometimes there's the same activity, same bad things happening.
Right.
But he says that he's happy. But yeah, that's what waiver funding means.
Man, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. At least in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Yeah. It just blew my mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I think the only thing left is Brook Lynn and Chase talking about the wedding, and she's freaking out like about the dress could have a black spot. And he's like, fine, then you wear jeans.
Right. He was so cute. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then she told some story of a disaster for another bride. And he was like, did they call off the wedding? And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, we wouldn't. It doesn't matter. Get married no matter what.
Right.
They're so cute. I can't wait for their wedding.
I know. Me too. I wonder if we're still a day behind from that preempted a couple weeks ago.
Probably. Because Friday wasn't really a typical Friday cliffhanger type of thing.
And I feel like the rehearsal dinner would have made sense to be on Friday.
Right.
Because then wedding Monday or Tuesday?
Yep.
They better get married.
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, a lot happened this week, though.
It did. It did.
And it kind of all flowed together. And that is something that we sometimes feel like it was so choppy. A lot of it really did.
It did. It moved along nicely.
Yeah. All right. You ready for our
reality check?
Sure. I'm just exhausted even thinking about it.
I know.
I'll make the sad part of mine real quick, and then I'll stick with Mother's Day cuteness. So yeah, on top of, I had said last week that Ryan had been in the hospital and that I have to help take care of him and whatever. And then Megan was in the hospital. And so we're just getting additional testing done. Well, this week, my mom ended up in the hospital and she had to have her gallbladder out, which is not a crazy procedure, but she also had a hernia and she is 84. So any type of operation is a big deal, but she came through it perfectly fine. Thank God. And so I'm just praying for a quick healing process and that she will be home soon. But, you know, no one likes being in the hospital. And especially with it being Mother's Day and stuff, she's whining that she'd like to come home. So that is that. But on the Mother's Day note, Madeline is still little, so they make cards at school. Not that I don't love all the presents from the kids and stuff, because they're all very thoughtful and I appreciate that. But there's nothing like the handwritten little like surveys that they have them do. So for this year, Madeline's says, I really love it when my mom takes me to Target, lets me get new clothes, or gets me a surprise. My mom likes to wear jeans and a really cute t-shirt, which I thought was super nice because I feel like I wear the same t-shirts all day, every day. My mom
you do, it's super cute.
I guess so. I mean, I'll take it. My mom always tells me to have a good day at school. The best thing my mom does is love me, Em, and Megan. I guess she forgot about Matt. She was figuring she was writing this, but I do love Matt too, I promise. It makes my mom happy when Emily and Megan don't fight or don't fight with me, which is very true because I've talked about the older girls arguing all the time. My mom loves to relax by the TV or in the bath. I like when she does TikTok dances with me. The best thing she cooks is
Wait a second, I didn't know about that. Okay.
I don't really do TikTok dances with her because I'm not a good TikToker, but she likes to make them in the living room. And so she'll be in the middle of like trying to perfect it, and I'll like jump in behind her and just do like goofy moves. And then she's like, Mom, stop, blah, blah, blah. But it is funny. I like to mess it up. And then the best thing she cooks is broccoli cheddar soup. When my mom shops, she likes to buy
When do I get some of that? Okay, right? Continue.
Jeans, snacks, games, and surprises for me, Em, and Megan. My mom's favorite TV show is General Hospital. If she could go on a trip, she would go on a Disney cruise. I love my mom because she is funny, kind, amazing, and loving. I love you, Mom. I hope you have a very special day. Love, Madeline. So
that's so sweet.
I know. I love them. And Emily bought me flowers and my favorite candy and stuff like that. So it has been a nice Mother's Day already. But those kids' write-ups are just priceless. So
there was a TikTok. I don't want to send it to you, but I do. It's this poem that this girl, she says, I am suing my kid's school because of this poem. And it basically starts at birth to when they leave.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, I was not prepared for this. You know, it has like the cute, like the hand, you know, she's like, and then there's a glued in. She's like, this is emotional. You know, it's.
Aw, how sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it was really nice.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it. It was very stressful, but that's it.
We had 2 emails this week that I forgot to include in the Port Charles pipeline. I just re-snoozed them for next week. So to our fans who wrote in, so sorry, just forgot. I had them pulled up and I just haven't gone to my phone.
Oh, well, that's
I hadn't gone to my email. So usually I write on my notes emails, and I did not write emails. I just wrote Nicholas Chavez and John J. York. I did not write emails. So my apologies. We will read them next week. One, I do remember, I don't remember all the details, but one did ask, is there an Oliver update?
Aw, you guys are all so cute. I love you. So we have had a cat that has come up to the door twice in the past few days, but by the time that I get to the door, he's already gone. So I don't know if that was Oliver or not. I'm hoping that it was, but no, we do not have Oliver home yet. But the not Oliver is doing very well. His hair is coming back super, super nicely. I should give you pictures for us to put up on Facebook for our friends to see that he is coming along nicely. So, but thank you for asking. That is so sweet.
Yes. I just remembered that. And I was like, oh, that's one that we definitely at least have to mention. Hi, not Oliver.
See how nice his hair is growing in?
Mm-hmm. That's very nice.
His butt.
So my week was crazy. I already knew it was going to be a little crazy because my daughter had blood work. Oh, her iron levels are still doing good. So we don't have to go back for a year.
Nice.
So unless we see things change. So good job. It's been 6 months, and that means that she's been maintaining the diet that she's supposed to and all that. So yay, was very, very happy. Then we had a new intake with a new organization that I honestly have no idea what is happening because I just clicked a box when I was filling something out, and I read the requirements, and I read it 3-4 times. And then when the person came to the house, I even told her that. I said, because I have a supports coordinator, they're not helping me with anything.
Right.
So I don't know if I should have done this already. Am I even supposed to be doing this? And we went over. She goes, no. She's like, you read it correctly. I said, okay, but you're asking me questions and I have no idea what we're even doing.
Right.
And that was hard to admit. I mean, it wasn't hard to admit, but I told her, I said, I'm really embarrassed. I said, but I said, we had an issue with our service coordinator. We have a sports coordinator. They're not helpful.
Yeah.
So I saw this. I was like, that might work.
Well, good. I'm glad you're finally getting some of the answers you deserve.
And here we are. There's only one kind of small thing that we have to slightly change. That's really not, I don't think it's going to really, really negatively impact anything. I hope so. And then we had, so I told you guys about my aunt hurting her knee, and we wound up just going for the MRI results and then wound up in the ER because she had a blood clot and now is on blood thinners. But if she had not hurt her knee, she does have a family history of clotting, but she herself does not, that we even know of.
Right.
Because she has actually never been even checked for it. So she could have.
Yeah.
So that was a little crazy. My son's been sick all week. I'm tired.
That's why we were yelling at JD earlier to get his back taken care of quickly on his own, because Shannon cannot take any more stress.
I'm really good with it. But then I just wind up being very, okay, I can't really do much more than this. So I got halfway through a new book.
Well, that's good. That's good. I read a book this week, which is a big deal for me. I was very excited.
What did you read?
It Ends With Us.
I love that. And then, okay, you have to read It Starts With Us.
I have both of them. So they were popular 2 years ago or so, and the girls had them and they said, here, read them. And it was one of those things that I started the first few pages and then put it down. And so finally this week I was like, I just need a break. So I had bath time and read through half of it. And then I had Madeline at the park the one day. And so while she was playing, I read some more. And so, I finished it in 24 hours. So
that's exactly what I did with both of them. It was, I read them last summer and I was like, I can't put this down. You guys are being neglected today. Sorry. Fend for yourself, cereal for dinner, whatever. I am mostly just kidding.
Your kids aren't exactly kids. They could have cereal.
I did not neglect my family's needs for a book. And then we had the retirement party because the CEO and CFO of my daughter's school are both retiring. Well, the CFO actually already retired and the CEO is retiring next month. And so that was really, really nice. It's going to be interesting to see the future of the school, but we only have one more year with it. So, but I'm still going to be on the board. So I will still be attached to it. Oh, they've already asked me once I'm done being the parent rep if I'll become a full member.
Oh, there you go.
I was like, well, can I have my 10th term and her last year as parent rep? Can I just do that, please? And they're like, yes. And then in Pittsburgh, we could see the Aurora Borealis.
I'm so mad because I did not see it. I was totally ignorant of the whole thing. And then I woke up the next day and all these pictures were on Facebook and I was like, what the heck? It was one of my bath days when I was reading my book. I never saw it.
Oh, well, so I feel like you can tell in my pictures, some people's I'm like, you have to say that you turned on night vision for your photos.
Oh, okay.
You can tell in mine, like when the trees are dark and you just see like little wispies.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's, that's not with night vision. And then the next picture is with night, like the night filter.
Okay.
But that was really, really cool. I did not check last night. I think that they might be available again tonight.
They were saying it should be through the weekend. I didn't see it last night, but I didn't go out with my phone. I saw a lot of articles that said, even if you can't see it, take a picture because your phone can capture it.
That's what I was saying. Like, make sure that you have the night mode on. And that's why. But go look at my photos, because the ones that are dark, like the ones that you can't really see the trees.
Yeah.
Those are what we saw.
Okay.
So there was definitely some that we were able to see. And then it was just raining so much last night. We were going to go somewhere, like a field too, but decided not to in the rain. But that's that.
Thank God this week is over. Let's hope that next week is so much better.
Yes.
And happy Mother's Day to all our moms.
Yes, happy Mother's Day. Sorry it's a day late.
Yeah.
But join us on Thursday as we talk about the best mom on General Hospital ever.
Have a good week. Yes. Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye. If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.